David, Football Without Fans, the history of Celtic Supporters Clubs is your book. What made you come up with the idea for it?
Well, I've got my Celtic Bars website and I've got a list of the disbanded supporters clubs, and one day I was looking at it and I was thinking, well, these clubs have been there for years. The one that stuck in my mind was Paisley Harp, founded in the 50s, and I knew nothing about them. You know, the guys, they played their part in supporting the clubs. They've been to games way back, from the Coronation Cup, the Exhibition Cup, the Lisbon, they'd been to these games. They've all got a story to tell. They'd been in the 7-1 game, where my dad was at the 7-1 game, and he called it a 3-1 game, because that was scored when he left. He was a Rangers fan. Right. So I knew nothing about these clubs, so I decided to contact the clubs I've got on my site to get their histories for posterity.
How many supporters clubs are we talking about here, and how long did it take you to come up with it?
Well, I've got 403 in the book, and it took me 19 months to do that. But I just took my time with it.
And that was a lot of waiting for information to come back your way, so that you could collate it all.
Yeah. And get the clubs to speak to the members and get it right.
They say there's Celtic supporters all over the world. Your book is evidence of that. What kind of far-flung places are represented?
Well, I've got one in Papua New Guinea. It's run by a guy called Kenny Martin. And they call themselves the Real Jungle Boys. And he sends a photograph of where they watch the games, and it's quite idyllic. You know, it'll be pretty cool to watch a game with them. You've got ones all over the world, kind of things. You get ones in Kuala Lumpur, Asia. You know, we've got them everywhere.
And when you were doing your research, I mean, I take it you got some clubs who sent you a lot of information. Were you able to really get into some of the stories of those clubs, perhaps some funny stories from the past?
Yeah, well, I got the history from Bellshill District. They sent us in the original minutes from 1946 when they were founded, in the still-fashioned man's handwriting. So I've got that, but some of the club's histories are pretty good. You know, there's a couple of humorous ones. Was Cavendish 7-1 CSC. Way back in the 80s, they voted Frank McGarvey to be the Player of the Year. So they asked Frank to turn up for the function, which he agreed. So they says to him, do you want a trophy or a crystal goblets or something? And he says, my Hoover broke this morning. Can you get us a new Hoover? So Frank became a proud recipient of a new Hoover. And that's just Frank. That's typical.
Is that a true story? So as payment for turning up, Frank McGarvey wanted a new Hoover?
That was his trophy for winning the Player of the Year.
Oh, that was his trophy for winning Player of the Year, was a new Hoover?
Yeah. That's just typical Frank McGarvey.
John Paul, as someone that's been associated with the club for 30 years, you'll be familiar with a lot of these Celtic supporters clubs in the book?
Yeah, absolutely, Jerry. I mean, I think I was just looking at it earlier as well and thinking about all my old ticket office days as well, and a lot of the old clubs that I used to deal with over the years. But no, it's a brilliant addition for Celtic fans.
Yeah, and a good resource as well if you're travelling around the world, but also a nice look back in the history of all these clubs, and it's great to have them together all in the one place.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know that people talk about the old break clubs and stuff like that, and obviously the CSC's extended from there, but it's been a brilliant tool for me as well, even just through my current role in terms of SLO, because we get asked regularly about fans that want to go and watch matches in different parts of the world, and the guys from Celtic Bars have been brilliant in helping direct people to the right places. So it's great to have that, and it's great to have this as a resource. I think fans will really enjoy it and look back at a lot of good laughs and a lot of history.
David, how well has the book been received since it's been out?
It's been out for 4 weeks and I've sold over 1,100 copies. It's been far and wide, from the Rio de Janeiro, Moscow, the Far East. It's done really well. I'm really pleased with that.